let's just get right into it. What if the signs of the end times that Jesus talked about 2,000 years ago, what if they're not some far-off future event? What if they're happening right now, all around us? We're about to break down exactly what those signs are, straight from the source.
You know, everything kicks off with this one simple question. Jesus' disciples take him aside and they ask him for basically the biggest spoiler in human history. And his answer, well, it lays out a roadmap, a whole series of signs to look for. This question right here is the key that unlocks this entire prophecy.
So you might think Jesus would give them one big, obvious sign, but he doesn't. Instead, he describes a series of events he calls the beginning of birth pains. It's like watching a storm roll in. First the wind picks up, the sky gets dark. These are just those first tremors.
Now, this is what's absolutely fascinating. Where does he start? Not with wars, not with earthquakes. He starts with deception. The very first warning, the one he repeats the most, is about a global crisis of truth.
He's basically saying be careful, because people are going to show up claiming they have all the answers, claiming they're the ones you should follow, and they're going to lead a lot of people astray. And wow, doesn't that sound familiar? I mean, this is a 2,000-year-old warning that feels like it was written for our world of cult leaders and crazy online misinformation.
So, after the deception of the mind, the warnings move to conflict in the physical world. The next sign Jesus points to is a planet just filled with tension, with fighting.
All you have to do is turn on the news, right? We're constantly bombarded with updates about conflicts happening all over the world. Just think about the weight of that, living with constant rumors of wars. But here's the wild part. Notice what Jesus says next. See to it that you are not alarmed. He's telling us, look, expect this. This is going to happen, but it's not the end of the story.
And it's not just humanity that's in turmoil. Jesus says the earth itself will be in distress. Famines, earthquakes, and pestilences. And that word, pestilence, wow, that hits a little different now, doesn't it? We've all seen how a disease can just explode into a global crisis. It's like the planet itself is groaning.
And this brings us to this birth pains metaphor, which is absolutely crucial. These first signs, the deception, the wars, the disasters, they're just the start. The whole idea is that, like labor contractions, they're going to get stronger, more frequent, and more intense as time goes on, signaling that something huge is about to happen.
Okay, so if those were the beginning of the pains, what happens when they get really intense? This leads us to a period Jesus calls the Great Tribulation, where things, well, they start to unravel on a global scale.
He paints this really bleak picture of social decay, a breakdown in how we relate to each other, persecution, betrayal, even within families, lawlessness on the rise. But the part that is just so chilling, he says the love of most will grow cold. Think about that. It's not about fiery hate. It's about a cold, hard indifference, a world where empathy just gets eroded. But, and this is a huge but, right in the middle of this incredibly dark forecast, Jesus points to something amazing, a massive, counterintuitive sign, a beacon of light shining in all that darkness.
I mean, just stop and think about that prediction for a second. For most of history, that would have sounded completely impossible. The entire world? How? Well, today we know how. Satellites, the internet, smartphones. The gospel is reaching parts of the world faster now than at any other point in history. This sign isn't coming, it's happening as we speak.
Jesus then mentions a very specific trigger event, and he actually references the Old Testament prophet Daniel. He talks about an abomination that causes desolation. Now, scholars have different ideas about the exact details, but the point is, it's a major act of sacrilege in a holy place that acts like a catalyst, kicking off the most intense phase of everything.
So, we have the what, we have all these signs, but what about the when? To answer that, Jesus doesn't give a date. Instead, he gives a parable, a simple lesson from nature that teaches us everything we need to know about the timing. It's such simple, brilliant logic, right? You don't need a calendar to know summer is on its way. You just look at the trees. You see the new leaves, you know it's close. Jesus is saying, use that same common sense. When you see all these signs I've been talking about start to converge, you'll know it's near, it's right at the door.
So here's where it gets really interesting for us. In the Bible, Israel is often symbolized by a fig tree. So when the nation of Israel was reformed in 1948, after almost 2,000 years of being scattered, well, a lot of people saw that as the fig tree putting out its leaves. And then Jesus adds that the generation that sees these things begin won't pass away until it's all fulfilled. For many, that brings a real sense of urgency to right now.
And yet, and this is so important, after giving us all these signs to watch for, Jesus gives us a massive dose of humility.
We can know the season, but the exact timing, that's a divine secret. Nobody knows the day or the hour. So if anyone ever tells you they've figured it out, they're going directly against his own words, period.
Okay, so if the signs are here, if the season is upon us, that really only leaves one question that matters. What are we supposed to do about it? And Jesus doesn't leave us guessing. He gives us very clear instructions.
This is the command. It's not what you'd expect. It's not go hide in a bunker. It's not panic. The response is to stand up straight, to look up with hope, with confidence. Because all this chaos isn't a sign of final doom. It's a sign that redemption is getting close.
And that really gets to the heart of this entire prophecy. Its purpose was never to scare people, it was to prepare people. It's supposed to be a wake-up call, not a horror story. It's all about being spiritually awake, aware, and ready for what's next. So when you look around, the signs really do seem to be converging in a way that's, well, it's unprecedented in history. The final question this prophecy leaves us with isn't really if these things will happen, but are you ready for when they do?